everybody. Welcome to the Alex Cuesta Daily Show. Happy Friday on this Friday, March 25th of 2022. I hope everybody had a good week out there, and we are here to round it out. Before we get into anything fun, like, share, follow, subscribe, rate 5 stars on Spotify and iTunes. Spread this word of mouth if you like the show, and find us on social media at the Alex Cuesta Show. Anywhere you can find it, just go search it. We are going to jump right into it today. Going to try and make this one in and out. Enjoy our Friday. Get to the weekend. Bada bing, bada boom. So we're going to hold the man accountable that always should be held accountable. Joe Biden with the Biden COVID tracker. The man who said he had a plan, but really had no plan. Let's go into it. Cases as of yesterday, 79,803,443. Deaths, 973,841. As of today, cases at 79,844,430. That's an uptick of 40,987. Deaths, 974,830. That is a uptick of 989, almost 1,000. So again, we're seeing very similar numbers that we have seen. The 40,000 is another downtrend, as we saw from yesterday, where it was up to almost 70,000 more. So we're on the mend. It is an endemic. We are not calling this a pandemic anymore. It is an endemic, but I want to keep giving you those numbers because until it is officially declared an endemic, all of these numbers are sitting solely on Joe Biden's ledger. They are all his responsibility. So we're holding him accountable. That's the end game. That's the goal here. Hold the man accountable, just like all the left and all those clowns wanted to hold Trump accountable for every single little thing and every single death that happened. So that's what we're doing here. But we are going to get into our story of the day right away because, like I said, get in, get out, enjoy our weekend, have some fun, listen to some politics, get frustrated, but no, it's all, in the end, I think there's enough of us out there that are going to make this happen, and I think it's all going to be okay. So this story today comes from The Hill. It is written by Emily Brooks, written today. Issa lays out groundwork for House GOP probe into Hunter Biden laptop story. Right away, right there, if you're on the right, we're talking about Hunter Biden laptop again, and this isn't coming from super right-leaning publications. The Hill kind of balances on both ends. And this one, if you're on the right, you're kind of like maybe doing like a little bit of a fist pump, like, yeah, we're going to go after him. I'm kind of giving you a cautionary tale on this one because my opinion on the GOP is not very high. And I don't think many people are very faithful, have a lot of faith in the GOP as a whole. So let's read what they have to say here and break it down like we always do. Representative Darrell Issa of California is spearheading an effort to investigate 2020 censorship and suppression of news coverage about the contents of Hunter Biden's laptop, previewing the kind of oversight House Republicans plan to engage in if they win back the House. So it's kind of, they're saying it's a preview for what Republicans want to do if they win back the House. A lot of it's for show. We're going to read through this. We're going to see all the demands. A lot of what the Republicans do is for show. Right now, like I said, a lot of guys, Darrell Issa does it. Lindsey Graham's great at this. McConnell, all of these individuals that have been around for a long time, they puff their chest out, they hit it, they yell, they make all these big tough talks when they're in the minority and they don't have power. They say what they're going to do when they get power. They tell America and their supporters, you need to give us power back because we want to do all of these things. And then come November, there more than likely is going to be a red wave. The Republicans are more than likely going to take back the House. There's a good chance they take the Senate. And all the power will be there to make Joe Biden a lame duck and to get things moving, or at least put things on Biden's desk and force him to have to veto it so then it could be on his lap. But you'll see a lot of this tough talk. Take note of it. Take note of it now because it'll come back to bite them in the ass because they do this tough talk and then they never follow it up. Let's keep going. Issa on Wednesday sent record and document preservation requests to several tech company executives, former intelligence officials, and top White House aides relating to the initial story in the New York Post about the laptop contents belonging to President Biden's son. Now, there's some good out of this because the preservation stuff is going to force these people to not have to destroy any documents that and any documents or materials that would have been used to discredit the story or could have been used to actually authenticate the story from the New York Post. So what this could lead to is I don't think we're going to see any arrests. I don't think we're going to see any people go down for this, but it could be vindication for the New York Post and their reporting. It's more like it would more likely be a moral victory. Let's keep going. GOP leaders have already promised an avalanche of investigative and oversight activity if they are in the majority, including into Hunter Biden, the origins of COVID-19 virus, and the withdrawal of U.S. troops from Afghanistan. So again, they're going after these type of things, and it all depends on how hard they go. We saw how badly they botched the Benghazi hearings. They don't go far enough. They don't actually look into things. I wonder when it comes to all this stuff, if talk radio hosts, your Sean Hannity's, your Glenn Beck's, your big cats that have a lot of these claims, your Bill O'Reilly's, have these legacy guys that have a lot of claims like I have documents here, I know these politicians here and this and that. Do they have a handshake agreement with politicians to say, we are never going to bring you up to talk about this stuff? Because if they don't know or if they lie, it might hurt their brand. Well, you have madmen like Alex Jones, and you have guys like Tim Pool who flat out say on their shows, call me up, call me to Congress. I will show you what I have. I will say what I think. I will say what I know under oath. They're willing to do it. They will never get called. But you have a lot of these legacy guys, and don't get me wrong, I like Glenn Beck. I listen to Glenn Beck, but he's one. I wonder if a guy like Dan Bongino would do it. These guys that have certain connections, would they go up and present the documents that they have? Glenn Beck does it a lot on his specials. He has all the documents that he says he has. He has them highlighted. He shows pictures of certain documents. If this committee would call Glenn Beck up to present with any of his members from the Blaze that helped him gather his research team, to present these documents, present this information, present this proof that he always says that he has, would they do it? I don't know. I don't know. Let's keep going. Quote, big tech will resist accountability like it always does, but we are more than determined than ever to make certain that we get the truth of the collusion that we know occurred, Issa said in a statement to The Hill. We should carry with us an obligation to see this through. Again, they're looking for collusion. Collusion isn't a crime. So that's a big word right there. Collusion's not a crime. They're not going to charge anybody with anything. They don't plan to. All they plan on doing is going, you guys did a really, really, really bad thing. And you're mean. And we need to now make a bunch of legislation to make sure this never can happen again. That's all it's going to happen. So while the headline kind of makes people hopeful, like, fuck yeah, they're going to go after Hunter. Maybe they'll get Joe and maybe it'll be a black eye and they might be able to do something about the guy. No, it's not going to. Collusion is not a crime. Conspiracy is a crime. Collusion is not. Let's keep going. The story from the New York Post in October 2020 said smoking gun emails revealed a meeting between Joe Biden, Hunter Biden, and Ukrainian business executives, insinuating shady dealings. Former New York Mayor Rudy Giuliani, then serving as President Trump's personal attorney, gave the emails to the outlet, saying that they came from a laptop that Hunter Biden left at a Delaware computer repair shop. Now, I remember hearing this story directly right away. At the time, even I questioned. Hunter is a absolute drug addict, a psycho, an idiot, a complete and total fuck up. But I didn't know he would be this careless. And it did seem a little iffy. Like I said, Glenn Beck did specials on all of this. Peter Schweitzer wrote books, Secret Empires, about this type of stuff. It's documented that the certain things that were claimed to be in this laptop have been proven to at least, if not be true, be very believable. So we'll see what Congress can do, but I have no faith in Congress. I have no faith in the GOP. Let's keep going here. Other outlets, including the New York Times, have since authenticated portions of the laptop contents. But at the time, there were widespread concerns about the authenticity of the contents and how they were obtained, with some worrying that the materials were hacked. It says was, that's a typo, were hacked. So I talked about this a little either yesterday or the day before. New York Times authenticated portions of the laptop. That doesn't mean everything that was claimed is true. So that needs to be taken with tempered excitement there. It doesn't mean it's all true. So they authenticated parts that they were going to make their story believable, was going to push whatever narrative they wanted to. That doesn't automatically assume that, give the assumption of truth to everything that was said. And, with some worrying that the materials were hacked. Oh my God, hacking. Oh my God. So upsetting. Twitter blocked users from sharing a link to the New York Post story for a little over 2 weeks in October 2020 at the height of the presidential race, citing violations of its policy about hacked material. Facebook did not block the link, but said that it reduced the story's distribution on the platform. So right there, that's insanity that Twitter and Facebook are using this type of power. I know a lot of people are like, they need to fight misinformation. No, they fucking don't. No, they don't. Don't be stupid. If you believe certain things that are bullshit, that's on you for being a moron. If you don't like seeing it because it hurts your eyes, and scroll faster or stop following the person that shares it. I don't know what to tell you, but Twitter and Facebook are a problem with doing this. Now, the issue is they welcome regulations because these regulations that they could step around, that they're essentially going to help create in the future, they will learn how to step around them because they'll help create them and it'll only hurt competitors. So if Twitter and Facebook, if Section 230 protects them, if something happens to Section 230, and if Twitter and Facebook are involved in any which way, you best believe that Donald Trump's social media, Truth Social, that Getter, that Gab, that certain places that are quote unquote alternatives to the mainstream, they're going to get fucked. It's going to hurt them. That's really not going to hurt Twitter and Facebook. So just be wary of whenever you hear any congressman on any side saying, we're going to go after big tech. Doesn't usually work well. The moves enraged Trump supporters who argued that the company suppressed negative information about President Biden in order to protect his candidacy. That is true. Flat out. Issa sent Issa has sent document preservation requests to former Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey and current CEO Parag Agrawal, Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg, and Meta Communications Director Andy Stone related to the throttling of the story. Quote, material investigation is essential for Congress to conduct a comprehensive fact-finding investigation into actions by technology companies, media organizations, and political allies to suppress information and prevent public awareness of matters involving the Biden family, Issa wrote in the preservation letters shared with The Hill. Now, here's another issue. A House committee can go through all this, can find a bunch of shit. They can't charge anybody with a damn thing. All they could do is present certain things to the DOJ that's saying this is chargeable, this is chargeable. We believe that these charges should be brought up or investigated by a DOJ further to bring up charges. It's Joe Biden's DOJ. These are going nowhere. All it could be is a black eye for Biden. And you know for a fact that the leftist media is going to report that all of this is a phishing mission. All of this is a witch hunt. They're not going to give this credence. They're just going to say that Republicans have power and all they're trying to do is stall and not get things done and they're hurting Americans. That is going to happen. Things that they never said when they were doing bullshit impeachments against Trump, but it will be said when the Republicans have power and do this. And remember, it is a Biden DOJ. They're not going to do shit unless they quite literally find out some ridiculous stuff that Joe Biden killed somebody in cold blood and they can prove it. Outside of that, and even maybe with that, it's not going anywhere. This is just a way for Republicans to puff their chest out and say, we tried. We tried, guys. Vote for us again because we'll try harder next time. Issa also sent document preservation requests to several of the more than 50 former intelligence officials who signed an open letter stating that they were suspicious of Russian involvement related to the disclosure of the emails, writing that the disclosure of the information, quote, has all the classic earmarks of a Russian information operation, end quote. Recipients of Issa's letters include former CIA directors Michael Hayden, John Brennan, and Leon Panetta, former CIA Deputy Chief of Staff Nick Shapiro, and former Director of National Intelligence James Clapper. Now, we've seen Brennan and Clapper all over MSNBC, CNN, and the likes, and even Panetta. They are so in the bag for the left. It is insanity. We've seen these people not give a fuck about preserving documents. Hillary Clinton got away with destroying a total email server when she was told not to. You think they are going to allow any incriminating evidence against any of them or any of the people that they want to protect? Yeah, out your mind. Darrell Issa's document preservation requests are absolutely nothing to these people. And they think they're above the government. They think that they're better than you and me. And they think that there's no consequences for the shit that they do. And normally there isn't, so they're not wrong. Keep going. Issa also sent document preservation requests to current top White House officials who were working on Biden's campaign at the time the laptop story broke. Chief of Staff Ron Klain, Press Secretary Jen Psaki, Communications Director Kate Bedingfield were all the ones that had it sent to them. And you best believe all these motherfuckers are going to use executive privilege to not say a damn thing. The same people that are going to defend them using executive privilege, that are going to be on these committees on the left, are going to be the same people that rail against anybody using executive privilege and not talk in January 6th committee. It's going to be hilarious, the hypocrisy. It really is. Psaki dismissed the New York Post story as Russian disinfo soon after the letter from former intelligence officials was released, because Psaki is just a mouthpiece of the party. Sometimes I feel bad for the woman, but for the most part, I think she's a moron. Republicans are aiming to take on big tech companies in ways going beyond the Hunter Biden laptop story if they win the House majority in this year's midterm elections. Addressing perceived censorship of conservatives is a top concern, and antitrust actions are also being discussed. Again, how are they going to do this? What is going to be in place? Are they going to force these companies to hire people that are on the right? Because the issue comes is that at most, if not 99% of these companies are far left, not even on the left, far left. And the people they hire are far left. So when they're doing these fact checks, when they're taking this stuff off, they don't see anything wrong. They really think they're helping. So what are you going to do? What are you actually going to do? How are you going to tell Facebook and Twitter to stop doing this? Because they don't think they're doing anything wrong. They think they're legitimately taking off basically what is a virus to them. So what are you going to do? Force them to hire conservative people? Force them to put people on the right on their boards? I mean, I wouldn't be for that. That's government overreach. So how is there a way for government to solve this? I don't know. Taking away Section 230 starts because they won't be protected anymore. They'd have to be considered publishers, and it would be easier to sue them if they don't have 230 protection. It's really all it is. I mean, if you take away or modify Section 230, then they will have less ability to just say, "Hey, we're only a platform. We can't be held responsible for what's written or done on here." You take that away. Now it's a little bit of a different ballgame, but there is going to be no way that they're going to take away 230 as it is. I don't think so. Let's go on to the next paragraph. Kind of talks about that. In a press conference at House Republicans' annual policy retreat in Florida this week, Representative Jim Jordan of Ohio promised a complete overhaul change in Section 230, the liability protection that big tech platforms now enjoy. That has to change if you can make editorial decisions, Jordan said. And that ends the article. Now, Jim Jordan's one of the guys who actually will push for this. Whether I agree or disagree with how he wants to go about it, he will push for it. He will actually try. And if you didn't notice, one thing that I want anybody to do, pay attention to who the media hates, who the leftists hate in Congress on the right, for the most part. It's usually the ones that are the most effective. Honestly, it usually is your Jim Jordans, your Biggs, your Marjorie Taylor Greens, your Lauren Boeberts, your Ted Cruz's, your Mike Lee. They don't hate because they can't outsmart the man. Mike Lee's the smartest guy in Congress, bar none. But they hate on a lot of people. If you hear them hating on somebody, then they probably are actually good. Now they like Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney's a fucking idiot. They love Adam Kinzinger right now because Adam Kinzinger needs to change his party. He's on the left. So they have these people that they pick and they choose. And the ones that they find favorable, be wary of because they're most likely rhinos. And last thing I want to say, Marsha Blackburn had a line that's been really publicized where she questioned the SCOTUS nominee, the Supreme Court nominee, Brown Jackson, about if she can define a woman. Brown Jackson, obviously not wanting to be, undressed by the woke, basically refused to make an answer to the name woman, which should disqualify her right there, considering some of our amendments have specifically to do with women's rights, women's rights to vote. It's a big one to me. You can't define a fucking word. You can't make a policy or a decision based off that amendment. But I digress. She answered that way. And of course, people on the left race to make this about race and all this type of shit. And then you have moron frauds like Jimmy Kimmel, who is a moron fraud. That's a good way to describe him. The guy that made his bones by putting attractive women on screen and watching them bounce on trampolines so that their tits are sagging and not sagging. Well, bouncing. Some of them maybe were saggy. You didn't see outside of it, but we're bouncing, drinking beer, doing manly things is now all of a sudden a woke loser. And I thought he was a feminist. I thought he was supposed to be because he kind of defends everything that the left wants him to defend that day. But he's only a feminist, I guess, when it's for one of his pals, one of the people he believes in. Because when he was talking about the line of questioning, one of his things like that, he kind of said like, oh, I know the answer. You're a terrible woman. Oh, okay, Jimmy. So you, a cis white man, wealthy cis white man, well, I'm going to use your stupid fucking terms, wealthy cis white guy is allowed to talk down to a woman for a question or having an opinion. You're allowed to do that? Okay. We see how the left works all the time. The biggest hypocrites on the planet. Like I say, the left, all they have is hyperbole and hypocrisy. And that's how I'm going to end this show. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. Like, share, follow, subscribe, rate 5 stars on Spotify and iTunes. Spread this word of mouth if you like the show and find us on social media. Go search The Alex Cuesta Show. Cuesta is how you spell the last name. And you should find us wherever you have a social media. Everybody, thanks so much for listening. We made 3 shows this week, on our way to making 5 maybe next week. Hopefully we shall see. But overall, I'm going to continue to try and push as much as I can to do this. And hopefully continue to have a good time of it. Hopefully I talk to everybody on Monday. Have a great weekend, y'all. So long.